Welcome. You are listening to the Suspense Files, covering the who, what, when, where, why in urban crime. On This Is the Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve. Sister, spiritual inspiration shared through the arts. Sister, spiritual inspiration shared through Ayana, but you better call me Sister Speak. Welcome to my faithful listening audience, and welcome to my first-time listeners. It's 50 minutes after 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm recording from Dallas, Texas. The temperature is about 94 degrees, and it's feeling real good. I'm in the country, so you're going to be able to embrace and hear the sounds of the country at night. That means my window's open, okay? Anyway, to my first-time listeners, the Sister Speak Show is rated R for strong language, thoughts, and ideas. On this podcast, we encourage you to have two things with you: water and scuba gear. Water, because your body is made up of 95% of water. It is vital. It is crucial that you clear, cleanse, and cultivate your body, that you are using that for clarity, that you embrace it because it helps you heal and keeps you looking young. If you don't like water, I'm going to think you're a witch, a warlock, or a demon, or all three combined. We are about solutions for the pollutions, picking up the litter and putting in the garbage can. This is not a mainstream podcast. We are going to stay right here in the village because we're not going to be selling our soul, and we're not going to sell out our village. Somebody has to stay in the village and tend to the village. Thank you for tuning in to a bold podcast. Thank you for adding the Sister Speak Show network to your podcast shuffle and for letting us be the flavor in your ear. Scuba gear, self-contained underwater breathing apparatus, because we go into leagues of the sea with our conversations, our perspectives, our episodes. We want you to be able to sustain your life within the environment in which we're going to be conversing in. Did I also tell you that I am grateful that you're adding us to your podcast shuffle? I know I did. And I thank you for downloading. I want to thank my international listening audience. You are amazing. Cambodia, India, Kenya, Ghana, where else? All over. I see y'all. Thank you, United States. I thank y'all as well for tuning in, okay? It's greatly appreciated. Tell a friend. Tell a family member. Please. Now listen, I want to do just a quick check-in with you. How you living? How you breathing? How you vibing? Are you popping? Are you establishing boundaries? Are you a warrior? How's your prayer life? Are you reading the word? Are you praising? Are you putting on the whole armor of God, the Most High God? Are you holding out and holding on by faith? Are there works with your faith? Once again, how are you doing? You doing all right? Are you feeling okay? Who did it? Who did it? Oh, you gonna find out about the Sister Speak Show. We ain't no punks over here. Y'all, you know what I'm talking about? We ain't no punks. We don't play that over here. So that's why I'm checking in with you, because when you tune into the Sister Speak Show, you have to understand that you have to be a warrior, because spiritual warfare is real. So enough of the formalities. I thank you for tuning in. Let's get into it. Tonight's episode, today's episode, whenever you're listening on demand, Charlie's Demons. Hold on. Charlie's Demons. The Sugar Baby crimes. What's done in the apartment will come out in the Cash App. Plus, the Sugar Baby scam. The Suspense Files covering the who, what, when, where, why in urban crime. Oh yeah, you better know it. Something's off because it's not on. On February 27th, 2022 on The Culture Climate, I recorded an episode called Sugar, Sugar. The demonic side of the sugar baby and sugar daddy lifestyle. You might want to check that out. Now check this in. Let's get into it. When it comes to urban crime, it seems like anything goes. And one thing that's always on the top of the list seems to be murder, obsession, premeditated murder to be exact, greed, lust, manipulation, triangulation, narcissism, demon time. The world of sugar. The currency of this sugar is deadly, and we'll show you that this evening. Now, on the 27th of February 2022, we spoke about the demonic side. Since then, some more stuff has happened. More crimes have been committed. The audacity is still actually happening. There is no moral compass that's saying our greed, our lewd and lascivious acts, our perversion, it's out of control and we need to stop. The amount of crime documentaries, whether it be audio or video, that depict the outcome of sneaking around, doing what you're not supposed to do, being greedy, getting too far into the thick of it, being loose, it doesn't shake. There are no DARE programs. There are no ABC after school specials out that are going to say, hey, you might want to practice some self-control and back out of this lifestyle because this is dangerous right here and this can prove to be deadly. Because at some point, somebody's going to get sick of somebody. At some point, somebody's going to choose the wrong sugar daddy and the wrong sugar baby and the wrong sugar mama. There's going to be a point where I'm tired of having to do what I'm doing. I want to move on, but I want everything that you have in a lump sum. I can extort you or I can ambush you. I can set you up. I can rob you. I can beat you within inches of your life or have my boys do it. My crew, my goons, the ones who sent me. Or I can do it myself. I can poison you. There are so many different ways that I could get rid of you in order to get your money, your assets. I could force you to sign me on to this and that to where I obtain this and that. There's so many different forms of manipulation that can come forth when you're in the world of sugar, sugar. And when you're Charlie's demons, not Charlie's angels, but Charlie's demons, oh, you're on that demon time. And we've talked about the dangers of the demon time. That demon time is real. And when you're Charlie's demons, oh, you're going to commit some crimes. Because your mind is low vibrating. You think at a level that requires darkness and wickedness in order to execute the want for your greed. To get what your greed says you should have more of, and quickly. It is the Googling and the organized crime meetings that say, hey, this is how we're going to overtake this one person. If the blackmailing and the extortion and the exposing is not shaking him, then we're going to have to take what he has by force or by murder. And when you're in the thick of it and when you're loose, your brain isn't tapped into anything righteous. Your mind is thinking quick, fast, in a hurry, and I won't get caught if I do it this way. You obviously don't have the bounce channel, because if you did, you haven't been watching any, for my mans, any type of shows that depict the outcome of a bad decision and the outcome of not having the breastplate of righteousness. You want a bustier. You ain't thinking about no breastplate of righteousness. For what? Because the need to look like and be like and to have like is pressing in this day and age of the addiction of influencing and the addiction of glam and riches. The addiction of being the most liked, the prettiest. I got featured on the Shade Room, this and the that's. The likes, the trips, the roses, the purses, the clothes, the this and the that. And it all comes with a price. And if you think that it doesn't, then your mind isn't turned on. Now, some people say, hey, it's their body. They can do what they want to. You're probably going to have to leave this show because we have what's called accountability over here. We don't want our sisters in the village out here putting themselves out in a low vibration, obtaining things that if they work hard for outside of having to give it up, that they would feel better about themselves and they would have confidence. And it would be a righteous confidence. See, women who have been raised to give it up because that's the only way that they're going to get what they want. Women who have been told that they are sitting on their rent, their light bill, water bill, and any other thing that they want or need. Women who have been told by their mothers and aunts and other women in the village who are not like teachers from the book of Titus, not righteous women, not women who have learned their lessons about being wayward and lost and lewd and lascivious and the backlash that you get not only physically but spiritually from being a whore, a slut, a bop. Come on, y'all. An escort. The backlash of laying with somebody who you have no business laying with, fornicating. You know, it's get 'em, girl. You know, that whole feminist spirit. The worst spirit in the world is that feminist spirit. The we will conquer man spirit. We're mad that we were created out of the side of from a rib spirit. We're mad because because God didn't create woman first. All this done, we can do just what men do. It's all of this foolishness that have gotten women so far fucked up in this world when it comes to what they're supposed to be, how they're supposed to be, what they're supposed to be, how they're supposed to be. Not comfortable with their role as a woman, hate being a woman, because if you love being a woman, then you wouldn't be trying to make a man your op. Yeah, he's the opposite sex, but he's not supposed to be the ops. It's putting yourself in a position where you hate what thus saith the Lord, where you don't want to obey, where you don't want to submit, where you don't want to cook, you don't want to clean, where you want to kick your feet up because you saw all these other witches off of the reality shows disrespect and show you how not to carry yourself, but you thought that that's how you're supposed to carry yourself, and the things that they want are what you want. It's this insatiable desire to have the things that the Babylonian bitches want. It's this desire to be a part of the lifestyles of the rich and the famous. You want to be on a yacht. You want to be on a yacht. You want to twerk. You want to twerk. You want everybody to see that you've got it. But if you want to, and it's always, I'm just keeping it real and this, that. If you're going to keep it real, show the video of when you got bukkakied. Uh-oh. Here, Sister Speak, I told you it was rated R for strong language, thoughts, and ideas. Why don't you show them the video when you were wiping all of the children off of your face? Show a video, an endoscopic video, of the children sliding down your throat. This is a real conversation this evening. I am here. Again, you're going there. I'm already here. Sister Speak, this is what it is. Because you can't flex on me on the gram or anything else and tell me to step my game up when you're a bukkake billionaire. I'm just saying. There are levels to this. And when a woman steps outside of her purpose of being a woman, this is the bullshit that we get. We get the crime shows. We get the audio news clips that show the perversity and the lack of morality that is still permeating the atmosphere to this second. Right now, there's a sugar baby thing happening. At this second. But to trade in your design of a woman, of how you are to be a woman, carry yourself, value yourself, respect yourself, the moral compass that you are supposed to daily enhance and make sure it is always turning and moving in the right directions, that it's always oiled. That you are consistently seeking the Most High God and His Son so you can have a level of covering and accountability that makes you say, I know my rent's due. And I know I'm about $400 short. I saw the light bill and I noticed that the color changed from white to pink. I'm aware that my water bill is starting to look like I own a lake. I understand that I like purses and shoes, and I like to eat, and I like to fly. I like to travel. I like to dress well and get my hair done and maintain my nails, feet. I like to smell good and keep my face at a natural beat and be clean, and I like all of that. And I know that Mr. Willie Earl, I know he's got about maybe 6 chicks and saved up all his money from when he built the first railroad in America. And, I know he probably the only brother Negro in this world that got reparations. So I know he's got money. I know. And I know he said, girl, all you got to do is just call me. But I'm going to have to pass. Because I don't want Willie Earl's slob on me. I don't want to have to sit here and step out on fuck it, because you ain't stepping out on faith. At that point, you're stepping out on fuck it. I don't want to have to step out on fuck it and get this money from him and have to go home smelling like Civil War breath. I don't want to smell like locomotive lust. It's real. It is saying, I know that there are ways that I could go and get this microwave money and remedy all of what I am going through right now in my struggle. I know that people put it out there that I'm sitting on gold, that in order to get what I want, I have to give what I've got. I know that there are a harem of witches and coven of witches that have subscribed to this ideology and philosophy, and they're out here making it look real easy and real good with their veneers. But the consequences of it, the foot on your neck from the Most High. It's the slapping of his right hand upon you. It is the give me that bag. Give me that. It is the striking you down to where you can't drop it like it's hot anymore. You have to drop it like it's tap water. Because you have been plagued with sit your ass down somewhere. And when the Lord hits you with the sit your ass down somewhere syndrome, oh, you got to sit your ass down. It is the decision. It is the decision of, am I going to hold out? Am I going to keep praying until my change comes? I know some of you are saying, I'm going to keep praying until my dollars come. If I keep praying until change comes, then I ain't going to never be able to pay my bills. You know what I'm saying, though? It is saying, I don't want to be a part of the who, what, when, where, why in urban crime because my bills are due and because it appears that sex and what I have is making the world go round, and that I am a commodity at all times, and that I have the ability to be like the rest of them. But at what cost? How close are you to saying, fuck it? How close are you to saying, nah, I'm going to step out on faith. I'm going to wait. We'll be right back after this episode. Excuse me, not after this episode. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks. You're a wonderful listening audience, and I thank you. I really do. You are currently listening to Charlie's Demons, Sugar Baby Crimes. What's done in the apartment will come out in the Cash App, plus the Sugar Baby scam on the Suspense Files, covering the who, what, when, where, why in urban crime. Thank you for adding us to your podcast shuffle and for letting us be the flavor in your ear. One word describes anybody who steps into the boxing ring: brave. The goal when you get into the boxing ring is to be undefeated, to not get knocked out, to get the belt, to be the heavyweight champion, and to be considered amongst boxing greats. There are body aches and pains. There are concussions. And what happens when you do get knocked out? There's a lot that goes on in order to be the best. There are social issues and personal demons that plague some boxers. And sometimes it spills outside of the ring, causing a catastrophe, even making situations deadly, especially when you have an obsession with the one you're training. Next on the Suspense Files, dangerous and armed. Anybody can get it. To play the game, you have to be in the game. To become a professional athlete, one must start early to be on the football field, basketball court, baseball field, or soccer field. Competitiveness, drive, stamina, natural talents, and knowledge of the game are required. The goal is always to get the top recruits. What comes with that package? Fame, finances, fans, and females, and the baby I'm pregnant conversation. That is a conversation that makes some athletes panic, causing them to try to remedy it in their own way, only making a mess out of the situation, whether they choose violence, murder, or poison. Next on the Suspense Files, poison deadly, moving in slow. Red flags on the play. The athletic Caruth syndrome, a cautionary tale, available on demand now. The Sister Speak Show wants to be with you on the go. It's simple. Just add us to your podcast shuffle so we can be the flavor in your ear. You'll be glad that you did. We are rated R for strong language, thoughts, and ideas, but I know you know that already. Thank you in advance for downloading and for being a wonderful listening audience.
Vision, sound, action, create, inspire, impact, evolve. You are now activated.
Welcome back to the Suspense Files, covering the who, what, when, where, why in urban crime. Tonight's episode, Charlie's Demons, the Sugar Baby Crimes. What's done in the apartment will come out in the Cash App. Plus, the Sugar Baby Scam. Let's get into it. All audio clips are for fair use under the Copyright Act of 1976 for education, no purposes only. If you find this to be entertaining, then I'll give you half of it and say for edutainment. This is to raise awareness to my people who listen to the Sister Speak show, for the village, to gain awareness that there is a different way than a dangerous way in order to obtain what you need in life. Just to help sharpen and strengthen the moral compasses that my listening audience already have. Y'all ready? I know you are. We're going to get into it. These clips right here are current clips and mixed with a couple of maybe a year or two old. But what sparked this need for this episode was the amount of recent crimes concerning the sugar baby, sugar daddy interaction. And, of course, a lot of people want to keep things on the hush. They want to keep things on the low. That's what the exchange of currency, gifts, and the likes are for, is we have an understanding here that this is between us. So when I heard the news clip that I believe is first in queue, I was like, oh my. Now this is a level of debauchery and danger and disaster like none other. It was the audacity and the capacity to think of it, premeditate it, and then to execute it. Oh, we're going to get into it. I don't even want to tell you about it. We're going to, how I do it. Play the clips, give you some commentary. We're going to have our time. We're going to podcast and chill. And then we're going to go on about our day or evening, whatever time you're listening to this on demand. So let's get into it. Charlie's Demons, the Sugar Baby Crimes, what's done in the apartment will come out in the Cash App. Let's get it. Let's go.
A brutal murder of a D.C. man is making national headlines. Investigators say two women played a role in his death, and there are some really gruesome details about what allegedly happened after that killing. Now, we do want to warn you, some of the details we're about to describe can be really disturbing to some viewers. D.C. News Now's Tosin Fakile joining us now with the details. And Tosin, the document uncovers exactly...
Yeah, Chris, that's right. Court documents reveal that the man, the victim, called Sugar Daddy, was fatally stabbed by one of the women who they say killed him and is now charged in the woman was recently arrested, and police say she is charged in connection to that murder that happened back in April. Medical examiners say the victim, 53-year-old Fasil Tekla Mariam, also had a thumb removed. Now, court documents show the victim had several cuts and a stab wound through the stomach that punctured the stomach and hit the spine. On April 5th, police went to an apartment in the Brightwood on Peabody Street in Northwest, and that's where they found Tekla Mariam with stab wounds and a severed thumb. Investigators say one of the women arrested used his thumb to get money from his account, using the money.
Demon time. Gone with the send. Out of her mind. This had gone too far. This is where I have trusted you to come into my apartment. We have gotten kind of cordial with each other. There's a level of comfortability. And then here comes the premeditation. Here comes the crime. Here comes the, oops, my bad, oh well, I don't care, and, I don't give a F. Cut that man's thumb off so she could get more money and use his thumbprints for the biometrics that he obviously had enabled for his accounts, for his apps. Would you agree that the moral compass is non-existent? What do you think? So, the thumb is cut off. Y'all, excuse me, I had to pause the show for a second. I'm back. But the thumb is cut off. You have gone to a level of, I don't care what the consequences are. I have to have what I have to have, and I need to have it right now. And it also goes to show that there are different levels when it comes to what a sugar baby looks like and what a sugar daddy looks like. See, there's a difference between a sugar baby and a sugar scaby. And when you're a sugar scaby, you have sugar rabies. And when you have sugar rabies, you end up cutting people's thumbs off. You know, it's always that, ooh, I know what we can do to get more money type thought that comes in, and it's the worst thought ever. I'm quite sure that even though this is a world of darkness, I'm quite sure that to be in the act of having to fight off somebody who you have been giving consistent cash to, consistent gifts to, this, that, and the third, and to find out that this is the day that you will lose your life because of their greed, because of their wickedness. You have to ask yourself at all times, is vagina the number one weakness of a man?
To pay for things like Uber, weed, and alcohol. Investigators showed pictures of the suspects, 19-year-old Audrey Miller and 22-year-old Tiffany Taylor Gray. Court documents also reveal security footage that showed the suspects at the victim's building. According to court documents, witnesses say Gray referred to the victim as her sugar daddy. Gray was arrested July 1st. Miller has since been behind bars since June. Now, police say Taylor Gray is charged with first-degree murder while armed felony murder. Now, she was arrested in Prince George's County. She's expected to be extradited to D.C. to face those charges. Chris?
18-year-old wanted for a shooting. She's accused of shooting a man in Oregon, is behind.
Before we move on to the next clip, I don't condone her taking anything and using his money, to go and buy any of that. But I just noticed that, what probably should have been on the list was a brush, some Shine Jam, some Sheen, some lotion, some baking soda and peroxide, body wash. I'm just saying. If you all go on YouTube and you look up this story, you'll see what these two look like. You'll see the pictures and see what I'm talking about. Charlie's Demons.
Behind bars after police say that she also crossed state lines to commit another crime. The teenager was arrested in Vancouver, picked up during a traffic stop yesterday after another robbery in Camas. Our Jennifer Dowling is live there now with more on how that second robbery led to her arrest.
Good evening. Detectives believe that this neighborhood in Camas, Washington, was the second stop on what they're calling a 24-hour crime spree for the teen. She's accused of shooting a 56-year-old in Oregon and then coming over here to Camas, Washington to rob a 19-year-old.
One of the reasons why we moved here was because it was away from that kind of thing. So
residents of this Camas, Washington neighborhood were shaken after finding out that a 15-year-old is accused of helping to rob and assault a neighbor here early Saturday morning.
I think there's something to be said about the day and age we're in. There's a lot of information that's available to a lot of people.
Hours earlier on Friday afternoon, detectives said Raylan Domingo was across state lines in Oregon. They say she had met a 56-year-old man online and things went downhill from there.
So the two began communicating earlier in the morning electronically after they had met online. At some point during that communication, they made an agreement for her to come over to the residence.
She's accused of going to his home and shooting him in the stomach at around 2 o'clock.
Throughout that afternoon, as the investigation progressed, we received a couple of reports of a suspicious silver sedan leaving the area at a high rate of speed.
A similar car was reported in Camas outside this brown house sometime after 2 in the morning when the robbery took place here. Domingo was arrested in Vancouver, and detectives say the car she was in linked her to the Oregon shooting. During the Camas robbery, detectives say 3 masked gunmen and a woman came into the home. The victims identified the teen and 3 men from past encounters and social media. Another teen girl and 3 men total have been arrested in connection with the Camas robbery and assault.
We are just happy that this person that made some really bad decisions in a 24-hour period is off the streets.
And she's behind bars here in Clark County for robbery and assault. But of course, there's a warrant out for her back in Oregon. They'd like to bring her over to that side in order to charge her with assault and robbery there as well. Back to you.
I just want to help if there's any brother, any male that happens to listen to this show. Do you all know what a whippersnapper is? A young whippersnapper? They're ahead of the game. You're not going to be able to keep up with the rate of speed that their mind is going, with the amount of technology and how much they expose their brains to when it comes to the world of social media, entertainment, and the likes. And you are in over your head when you go perusing down Sweet Valley High. You keep perusing down the wrong avenue, looking for whatever you're looking for, and you will be outsmarted every time by a young whippersnapper. See, these whippersnappers, this is like justice for the time that Mr. came and said, I comes to marry your Nettie. I don't know about you, but I was trembling with fear. I felt like Mr. was coming to marry me. Please, Papa, I don't want to marry Mr. And then he left with Celie. And Celie said he just gets on top of me and do his business. I'm sure I speak for some women, I don't want a fossil on top of me. I am not interested in an AARP ambassador. I'm not. I'm not interested in anybody getting on top of me and me describing it as if he's going to the toilet on me. This is what we call cringe. So it's like, I don't know if it's just the whippersnapper revenge, but what you need to understand is that if you're 56 and you're encountering a 19, 20 to 25-year-old, you're in a Lifetime movie. And not the ones back in the 90s like Death of a Cheerleader, The Killing Secret, No One Would Tell, The Perfect Assistant, things of that nature. No. Deadly Vows. The Stranger Beside Me. You're in a current 2028 Lifetime movie. You're not ready for the cuts and edits and the croppings that take place in this movie. You're not. You're not ready for the characters. You're not prepared. And so when you put yourself in a position and you dangle the money, the riches, the car, the this and the that in front of somebody's face, and you're cringy too, yeah, there's a plot and a plan to try to get it without having to lay you. And that's what happened right here. Pow, pow. Give me your money. Okay? Whipper snapper. You all know what the whippersnappers are because you are the ones who keep going to buy the penis pills at the gas station. Because you're trying to keep up with the whippersnapper. Yep, you want to have sex, and for some, the sex is it's not charged. It's not on the charger. It's the percentage is about 14%. And so you go to the gas station to get the other percent. And now you've got Rhino Max because you've got a whippersnapper. Because you're 70, you're 60, you're 59. And there's nothing wrong with these ages. It's a glorious event to live, to be ages. Trust me. I'm not, this is not about ageism. This is about reality. This is about saving you from being on these news clips. All I know is that I told her that I got my disability check a little late because I had changed my direct deposit information, and all I know is, yeah. Now you're on the news with an ice pack and crutches because you changed the direct deposit information. And I am not condoning sugar daddiness at all. But I just do find it interesting. Like, if you are living off of $2,300 a month, that's probably not the hobby for you. Yeah, girl, you come over here and get some of this. No, thank you. No, thank you, sir. You go on and, keep your money. Here goes some rent relief programs, a couple utility relief programs, sir. You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to sugar daddy. No, sir. Absolutely not. No, not at all. Okay? Whipper snappers. They are loose and they are all over. Sugar scabies, sugar rabies, and whippersnappers. And you think that Rhino Max is going to give you force? You really think that Rhino Max is going to protect you? I'm just asking. Because it doesn't make any sense to engage with anybody and know nothing about them, but because there's a common thing, you're willing to risk it all. And that's on both levels, on both levels. Both parties are entering at their own risk. Let's get it. Let's go.
Interesting twist in this case. Jennifer Dowling live for us. Thank you.
We have new video now of a woman who's accused of assaulting a man she met on a dating app. She's accused of trashing his home, giving him chemical burns in the process because he refused to give her money. The arrest papers say this woman, Kaylee Medina, met the victim on a dating app called Seeking Arrangement. They went on a date November 11th. They kept in contact. Police say on Tuesday morning, Medina went to the victim's house. It was 2 a.m. When he let her in, police say she wanted $2,000. He refused. She went into a fit of rage. She trashed the house, stole a Dyson hairdryer.
Let me explain something to you. Listen, I need you to come in as close as possible. This is to you got to be sugar daddies. Seeking arrangements. They're missing a word. Seeking funeral arrangements. That's what this is going to be. Because you're not listening. You're not getting it. Seeking arrangements. Now you're seeking a funeral arrangement. Possibly. Because didn't I say it? If you don't have the money, they're going to go off. And you're going to be in the thick of it. Because they're going to be loose and there's nothing you can do about it because you're trying to get her to be quiet. Shh, shh. I got you. Please, please. You're begging her not to go off. She's hitting you with eggs. She's hitting you with napkins. She's hurling spit at you. You're all kind of old bitch ass. I mean, the list of insults are being hurled. The violence is increasing, and you're afraid to call 911 because you don't want your shit to be blown. Now you're in the thick of it because now you're in a real word problem. Forget the word problems from algebra. This is real. Forget all arithmetics. This is a real word problem. What are you going to do? And who are you going to call? My mama told me not to hit women. Sir? You've got one eye that you can see out of right now, and you're lumping up as we speak. I think that advice probably is for a different situation, but at right now, at least you need to duck. Listen, if you don't have the money, if you don't have the riches, if you don't have what it is that we arranged for you to have, I'm going to take your blow dryer. That's what I'm going to do. And not only that, I am going to throw a little bit of acetone on you, possibly a little bit of ammonia. I'm going to concoct a quick little Doogie Howser, a quick little thing here, and I'm going to stir it up, and I'm going to throw it on you because I'm mad at you. That's why I did it. Why you do that? Because I told you if you don't have my money, I was going to throw this on you. That's why I did it. I meant it. You talk about your back against the wall, and your wife is coming home in 40 minutes. Your shit is, this is the first 48 seconds. What are you going to do, sir? Listen, the kryptonite is the reason why. It's the kryptonite. You lose your mind for a sniff of it, a whiff of it, a taste of it, a feel for it. Some have self-control when it comes to the sugar, but there are others who are willing to get a cavity and have a root canal. They're willing to have to take insulin for that sugar problem. They can't get enough of it. Oh, that sweet tooth is insatiable. And hey, a lump, it'll go away, right? So she took your thumb. They regenerate, right? I mean, come on here. Who can afford a prosthetic thumb? Especially when you've been shelling out all your money to these sugar babies. Let's get it, let's go. I'm just asking.
Poured laundry detergent on him, which got into his eyes. She stole his iPhone, they say, and a security camera and ran away. She was arrested overnight.
I think these things are probably happening more often than what we're told. I think in some instances people may be embarrassed by the fact that they got catfished into a situation where they got assaulted or robbed. If you don't report it when it happens, we're never going to be able to hold somebody accountable and make an arrest like this.
Some of the stolen property has been recovered. Medina is charged with a few other crimes she has been in the past, like aggravated assault to a security officer, and driving while intoxicated.
A 30-year-old Chicago woman found strangled in her garage.
And now the search is on to find her killer. CBS 2.
So we're going to take just a little quick, detour and focus on when the threats of "I'm getting ready to tell your wife" happen.
Marissa Perlman is live with the latest on the investigation. Marissa.
Well, Dina and Ryan, family reporting this morning that this woman had just celebrated her 30th birthday just days ago, and it was her own mother who first discovered her body near her home on Monday. I'm going to show you a photo now of this woman, Sierra Jameson, who police say was found unresponsive again on Monday on Indiana and 78th. This is in the Greater Grand Crossing neighborhood. The Cook County Medical Examiner's Office says Jameson died from strangulation. Family sharing with us, Jameson was a mom to a young boy, just 6 years old. Now, in a rare coincidence, CBS 2 investigator Dorothy Tucker interviewed Jameson just last month. Her story about violence against black women. She was a recent victim of a carjacking and shared with us how hard she worked for her family and her son.
For me. And my Jeep, my Wrangler, that was something for a gift for myself because I know how hard I worked for it. I know how many sacrifices I've done for my family, my son, because he's been through a lot. My son had open eye surgery. He has a disability, so He means a lot to me, and I'm not finna let this young man with a knife at that take anything I work hard away from me.
As of right now, no one is in custody. This morning, police wouldn't confirm whether there is a person of interest in this case. Now, we do know that family is planning a memorial for this evening for Jamison, starting at 6:30. I'm Marissa Perlman, CBS 2 News.
Arrested a man accused of choking a woman to death in her Grand Crossing garage. Lawrence Curtis Boyle is facing a count of first-degree murder tonight. He was taken into custody yesterday. Police say Boyle attacked Sierra Jamison while she was at her home in the 7800 block of South Indiana Avenue. Jamison was found unresponsive Monday evening. She had just celebrated her 30th birthday. The medical examiner ruled her death a homicide by strangulation.
Joseph, thank you. Now to a one and only exclusive. Earlier this week, a potential juror in the penalty phase of the Parkland shooting trial told the judge she couldn't serve because she has a sugar daddy. Well, that clip went viral online, and now she wants to set the record straight. We have Local 10's crime specialist Bridget Matter live in Fort Lauderdale with the exclusive interview. Bridget.
This woman said she wanted to talk to us because she wanted to let people know she was being honest, that serving on a jury would put her in a financial hardship because she can't see her sugar daddy. No one expected jury selection in the Parkland shooter's penalty phase trial to go viral, but this clip of a potential juror explaining why she can't serve on the panel made the rounds on social media.
I need to figure out something. I have my sugar daddy that I see every day. I'm sorry? My sugar daddy. Okay, I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about, but I'm married and I have my sugar daddy. Okay. And I see him every
day. Woo! She said she's married and she has her sugar daddy. Out of line. That's out of line. That's what you call adultery. That's what you call no respect for her covenant with her husband. I don't know the dynamics of it, but I just know that she's loose. She is loose. And the fact that she would even say something like that lets you know that she doesn't drink water. And that's for sure. And that there's an imbalance. But the addiction to the sugar daddy, I mean, let's just be honest. There are people who are addicted to sugar. And we know that sugar stands for something else. And the fact that she says she has to see him every day, when I watched her mannerisms as she was speaking, it's giving drug addiction. It's giving got to hit that pipe every day. It's giving how in the heck did I get sequestered? Oh my goodness, what in the world? How do I get out of this? You know what I'm saying? There's something a little off about that because there has to be a spirit within her that would even make her open her mouth to say something like that. Ooh.
That woman, Mrs. Bristol, a native New Yorker, says she wasn't trying to weasel her way out of jury duty.
If I do this case for 6 months, I have a hardship. That means my sugar daddy can't support me.
She told me that 6-month time frame would put her in a financial bind. How much exactly per month she claims she'll miss out on?
$8,000 a month.
Bullshit. Lies. All lies. There's no way. Absolutely not. No, ma'am. Don't believe you. It's giving $850 a month. It's giving $85.32 a month. For what? Oh, she said, let me lie. $8,000 a month. Really? You grabbed that shit out of the sky. That answer, you grabbed that straight from the sky because that's a lie. He's looking around like 8,000. You a lie? Minus what? Minus 7,500. Oh my gosh. The thick of it.
The penalty phase for the shooter could last up to 6 months. Jurors would have to make a recommendation to the judge of a life or death sentence.
It's all day for 6 months. And that was my hardship. I need my sugar daddy money.
Bristol says she was honest, saying her hardship was financial, so the judge excused her.
I said to the judge, I have a sugar daddy and I'm married and I have a husband, just like that.
The judge heard other more common hardships like
I have a sugar daddy, I'm married, and I have a husband. That's what you call confusion. And that's what you call a whore. That's what you call a Jezebel. That's what you call loose. That's what you call the worst person to call wife. That's an embarrassment. Your wife is on the news, sir, and I don't know if you know that she's getting 8 racks a month, because we don't know it. I don't even think she knows it. Nobody knows it. But that's what she said. Sirs, because she's married and she has a husband, so I'm just going to say sirs. Get her. Come get her. And if that's anybody's daughter or cousin, intervene and get a ticket for her to go back home. She needs to go home and she needs to be nursed back to righteousness.
having 2 jobs or a long vacation, but none as unique as this one. I did ask Bristol if the judge asked her to provide any proof of this. She said no, that she was simply excused. Eventually, 12 jurors and 8 alternatives will be seated for this penalty phase, but Bristol will not be part of that group. For now, we're live in Fort Lauderdale. Bridget Matter, Local 10 News.
#only. Ojukwu and one Adebayo Quadri have pleaded not guilty to 8 counts of murder, stealing, and forgery. Her sister Chioma Ibucho, who's also arraigned, has pleaded not guilty to receiving the late Mr. Ataga's iPhone 7. The state government is represented by the DPP, Olayinka Adeyemi, while one Ego is representing Ms. Ojukwu. The Director of Public Prosecution has asked Justice Adesonya to give a date for trial and to order a further remand of the first 2 defendants in custody.
Lebogang Matsumi is HIV positive, infected by a man 10 years her senior. For years, she dated sugar daddies, older men who shower young women with presents and cash in return for sex. In South Africa, they've been dubbed blessers, although they're often anything but.
It was not now love and comfort. I knew if I'm with this guy, I will get so much money and I will fulfill my wants. I want to fit in. I want to wear this sneaker because my friend is wearing it. I want to have this hair because my friend has it. And it comes from not loving yourself enough and accepting who you are and knowing that you are not determined by your current circumstance.
South African girls aged 15 to 19 are up to 8 times more likely to be HIV positive than boys the same age. And an estimated 2,000 young women here are being infected every week. Scientists believe intergenerational relationships are driving a cycle of infections. And in South Africa, sugar daddies have become public enemy number 1.
And to the blessers, there is only one level I want. The 0 level, 0 tolerance for men. We put adolescent girls at risk for HIV.
The South African government recently launched a prevention campaign aimed at...
That's what I like about when I hear these clips about South African governments and things like. I like the fact that they take a stand when it comes to morality. I appreciate that so much. And before we even go into this clip even further, I do feel like it's a necessary pause. When we fornicate, there are consequences. Period. When you decide to lay down with somebody that's not your husband, that is not your wife, you put yourself at risk every time, spiritually and physically. And we all should be very thankful that are listening, those of you who, who have engaged before in fornication, that we weren't struck down dead. That the outcome was not as bad as it could have been. And then sometimes there was just grace and mercy And you still have to look back and say, thank you that you didn't strike me down with a plague, with a STD, with a this or a that. And there are some who can testify that they've been delivered from certain diseases as a result of fornicating. We don't know these people. These people don't know us. Let's just be real. Let's just put your desire for sex to the side. The desire to always have some penis and some vagina to the side. Let's just put it to the side and say, okay, is it worth the risk? Do you even know this person? Does this person know you? And even if you did or didn't, are you supposed to be fornicating? And the answer, if you're not married, is no. That you're not supposed to be doing it. You have absolutely no business engaging in it. There is a level of power that you gain when you refrain. Yes, the wiles of the devil are there. Yes, temptation tries to play every now and again with you. But the power and the allegiance to you doing right, the reward for that is far greater than you busting a nut. Than you coming, having an orgasm, reaching a climax, having your back blown out. I don't know why you want your back blown out. That sounds like scoliosis times something else, a little bursitis. Why you want your back blown out? Don't you need your back? If your back is blown out, how you gonna walk? Just asking. I want somebody to knock my boots. So you want a man who likes to have sex with shoes? You know what I'm saying? I don't. Listen, when you are celibate, when you are abstinent, you are protecting yourself from the fuckery. And there have been enough documentations, enough videos, enough this and that when it comes to the consequences. We see them, but we still say, I don't care, YOLO. And this is something that's going on all over the world. In the ages of, 15 to 19 in South Africa, of young women who are testing positive for HIV because they're laying with older men who are carrying the HIV. That's a pandemic. That's a problem. And they actually care. Whereas over here, do what you want to do. There's nobody who is saying, well, I'm not going to say there's nobody who's saying. There's the people who are saying, hey, we got to chill. We need to stop. We're doing this wrong. We really need to, protect our bodies and refrain and this, that, and the third. They're always outcasted, called crazy, laughed at, ignored. But they also are the ones who aren't testing positive for all of the STIs. They're also the ones who don't have to worry about the carnality of a relationship. To be able to be okay with being in your bed and without having anybody in it, knowing that they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Why don't you wait for your strength to be renewed? There are consequences for fornication. There should never be any pride that comes from you being perverted, a sodomite. Rebellious, horny. Gosh, can't you just chill out? Is the only way you feel validated as a human is if you're being penetrated or penetrating? Do you not know what an STD looks like? Why would you play with lava? You willing to pay for sex? That's a problem right there. And you're willing to get paid for sex. That's a problem right there. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, I lack nothing.
Empowering girls to help keep them away from older men. But it's vital getting the whole community on board, including their parents.
Many parents are in denial. I don't blame them. Every parent wants to believe their daughter is doing nothing. It's an angel is sitting, but this is natural. The parents themselves forgot that they did indulge in sex, whether before or after marriage, but they did because they are human beings.
Lebogang says she suffered from a lack of information both at home and school. Today she insists adults have real conversations with teenagers rather than speaking in slogans.
Young people don't want to be preached at, don't want to be judged, but the information you give them and how you treat them at the end of the day sort of influences how they see life and how they want to live. But if we say sugar daddies must fall, stay away from sugar daddies, you've lost people that you could have been making so much impact.
Lebogang is now her.
And also, sometimes you have to tell it like it is. There's no point in putting cotton candy on a brick. Either you're going to serve the cotton candy, or you're going to serve the brick. But the problem with this world is they want to put synonyms on what it is. And if you took away the synonyms, and if you started calling things what it really is, then maybe we would have more attention focused on changing and accountability and responsibility and the need and the desire to want to do better. But as long as the synonyms are there, as long as you have groups that support the fuckery, groups that will try to shadow ban, blacklist you and shun you and outcast you for standing up for righteousness. That's the fucking problem. The problem is you got a group of people who want you, me, I'm talking about people who say, hey, look, the Lord is our Father. We believe in His Son. We believe in the death, burial, and resurrection, and we believe in this word. All of it, Apocrypha included. And our Father has given us order, commands, statutes, laws, a way of living, a way of being. He has taught us before we leave the house, this is how we are to conduct ourselves. He has given us rules inside of the house, and He has told us to obey. And you think you groups are going to tell us to disobey our Father and think that there ain't going to be any consequences? You mean to tell me that you think you have the right to pressure us out of our allegiance to our Father and how He has told us to be? Act, live? No. Enough is enough with coddling the devil. We have to throw bricks to break down the walls. That's the only way you can get the enemy to fall.
Herself a mother, and uses her experiences to teach young women about the risks of relationships with older men. Her advice, a condom is non-negotiable, be it with a boyfriend or a blesser.
Brunson turned 20 in June, a joy to be around.
She can make you smile right away.
Brunson wanted to be an orthodontist or a vet, later learning she was good at making others look good, so she enrolled in beauty school.
She actually taught me how to put on eyelashes and
do my eyebrows.
This is Brunson leaving home the morning of September 24th, texting her mom a smiley.
I wasn't even there 30 minutes and they called and told me her car was found. And I knew then, at that point, like, something happened to her.
The day of the murder, police say Brunson met up with a married man she'd been seeing, Sultan Sharif. Strangely, he'd reached out to Brunson's mom a week earlier.
He goes on to say, I want to be done messing with your daughter, but she's reaching out to my wife.
September 24th, a friend of Sharif's called 911 after he says he saw Sharif on top of the victim in Sharif's car, and that the female stated, "He cut my throat." She was screaming and pleading for help. Police didn't locate the two then, but hours later were called to an alley near Keefe and Palmer where Brunson had been tied, shot, and then set on.
There's no allegiance when you're doing what you ain't supposed to do. I don't care how long you sit down, pillow talk. I don't care what the agreement is or this, that, and the third. There is no allegiance. The devil is a liar. He is cunning and manipulative. I can say anything that you want to hear and vice versa. I can wear a mask for a certain amount of time. But when you get entangled into a covenant of matrimony, and when you step outside of that covenant of your matrimony to go and do all of this type of extramarital affairs and curricular activities, what the fuck do you expect to happen? There's going to be a blow up at some point, at some time. I am sick of being second. I don't like the way you treat me. Why don't you call me like you used to? I'm tired of sneaking around. I don't want to meet up over here. I'm going to tell your wife. I need some money. What you mean you ain't got it? Do you want me to tell your wife? How long do you think that threat can last before a man snaps? And the fact that a man snaps lets you know. The fact that a man is getting agitated and irritated lets you know that that man knows that what he's doing ain't right. It's not right. None of it is right. The amount of stress, hypertension, high blood pressure, stroke-like symptoms, flu-like symptoms, and any other type of side effects that come with adultery, fornication, manipulation. Do you understand all of that? Is it worth it? Right now, if you're listening, are you involved with somebody else? Are you sneaking around? How many times have you been threatened to be exposed? Have you been extorted? She keeps calling your phone. You had to put it on DND. Did you have to change your phone number? Did you get your tires slashed? Did she show up at your job? Did she confront your wife? Did she show up at the doorstep with a gun? How close proximity has your sugar baby side chick come into your life? Within inches, I'm assuming. How close are you to snapping? You probably want to just go ahead and tell your wife and just get it all over with, right? Don't want to do that, I guess. Because what? The divorce? Don't want her to take half, the kids. It's like you contemplate the loss after engaging and entangling. It's never the before. But you've got to have it, right? The sugar. Your sweet tooth says risk it all, right? Your sweet tooth says you're 50, 60 years old and your pumps and your strokes and your this and your that qualifies you to be with a freshman even though you're a postgraduate. Correct? You don't know how to let go? The sugar, right? It's addictive. so addictive that these stories come about. Because it was never right to begin with. Are you that man who's on the brink of snapping because you've been threatened? Are you the sugar baby? Are you the side chick? Are you the one who's tired of him going home to his wife every night, getting in the bed with her, and of course lying to her and acting like he had a long day at work, or, got caught in traffic, or, the lies. Oh, he said he would call you when he got home and he didn't. Is that you who keep on calling his phone knowing that he is a married man, but you don't care, right? You don't give a damn about his wife, because if she was doing the right thing, then he wouldn't be swinging your way, right, shorty? Know what I'm talking about? Are you the boundary crosser when it comes to a covenant? Are you particularly attracted to the forbidden, the don't touch, the don't covet? Is that your weakness? Is it worth it? Nobody wins. All parties involved. Nobody wins when it comes to Charlie's Demons.
She was everything to me. She was everything, and this is the most hurtful feeling.
Police interviewed a number of people, including Sharif's wife, who claimed he'd been with her the night of the murder, which the complaint says was debunked through video evidence.
And they think that they're going to be out here and live their normal life after they, help.
You have cheated on me. You have stepped out. You have been dealing with this woman and no telling how many other people you've been dealing with. And now I'm going to help you. I'm going to provide an alibi for you. Although I have been completely devastated and I'm numb, I'm in shock, but I'm going to cover for my husband because that's my husband. And I don't want him to go to prison, and at least that she's gone, and it's no telling what type of thought processes were going through the wife, but she was willing to cover for a man who was supposed to be her covering.
With this.
Sharif's brother-in-law, Johnny Allen Hopgood, is charged as an accomplice.
It's still hard to believe that she's not, here with us.
New at 9.
County ESO Criminal Investigations Division is warning people against what they're calling the sugar daddy scam. They have received reports regarding possible human trafficking stemming from Instagram and Facebook accounts with men describing themselves as sugar daddies. They say, though, there is zero indication this is human trafficking. They do say this is a financial scam where the man is asking for banking information to, quote, send money to.
All new this morning, a warning to parents about an internet scam directed toward teens and their bank accounts. First News reporter Taylor Long is live in the newsroom this morning with this scam and what it's all about. Taylor.
Good morning, Brandon. Yes, authorities are calling it the sugar daddy or sugar mama scam. It was most recently reported near Portage County. The scammers reach out to teenagers on Snapchat asking them to send good morning messages, good night messages, and pay attention to them. In exchange, the scammer will pay them money. Once the scammer sends a large check worth thousands of dollars, they'll ask the teenager to return a portion of the money and send it to the scammer's child. The scammer will then have the teenager's bank account information and empty the account out. sad because when I was a kid, you could go outside, you could go up the street to the park, ride your bike, go to a friend's house or do whatever, by yourself, and it was okay. But now you have to, constantly have a camera stuck to your child and watch them.
Law enforcement is advising young people and parents to be careful, inform teens about the scam, and trusting strangers in general, and that if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. Coming up the next half hour, we'll talk to some frustrated parents and get their reactions. But for now, live in the newsroom, Peter Long, WKBN 27 First News.
Natural curiosity combined with his love for social media and the speed of the Zelle Money app turned out to be a costly combination.
Yeah, 7 on your sides, Michael Finney looks at how scammers built a local teen out of thousands of dollars, Michael.
The offer of being a woman's sugar baby proved just too tempting for this 17-year-old. It all started with a conversation over Snapchat. Will you like to be my sugar baby? Arena Angels asked the 17-year-old, who we agreed not to identify. I'm willing to pay you $500 as allowance on a weekly basis if you willing, she said over Snapchat. Yes, I'm down, the boy replied. Janet Mondani of Danville read a conversation between her son and a woman who went by the name Arena Angels. She said the two talked about everything from holidays to family.
Yeah, I'm not asking for too much. No any sexual activity, just online companionship.
Angels instructed the teen to deposit 2 checks into his Wells Fargo account, keep $500 for himself, and then donate the rest. She says her son became skeptical.
Why do I have to donate? Why didn't your accountant just donate? It makes no sense. He works for my dad before I took over. He's family. He's been with the family for decades. I trust him. And I would really like you to do the same as well. You got a problem with that? Or are you still doubting?
Her son agreed to the plan. Angel's accountant sent him 2 checks via email, one for $4,000, the other for $4,500. She said the boy could keep $500, but deposit the rest into his account, and then Zelle the money to make a donation on his behalf.
The fact that this money went out the window so quickly, I was just like, holy cow.
Her son Zelled the money, but the checks he deposited had bounced. Hey, why is all my money gone? Janet's son asked. Sorry, dear. Can you please exercise some patience? It's an issue with my account officer, she replied. I'm really sorry, dear. I promise to make it up to you. Janet wants to know why Zelle didn't send her a warning like this one, notifying her that a new recipient had been added to the Zelle account since she's the custodian. Early Warning Services, which owns Zelle, told 7 on your side, an alert may go to one person depending on how the account is set up.
Where did this Zelle money go? What account did this Zelle money go to? Why can't they do research and find out?
She also wants to know why Wells Fargo didn't notify her of unusual activity on the account. Wells Fargo told us it can take weeks for a bank to confirm a bad check after it's deposited, and you may be out the amount of the check and any money sent to the scammer. Janet said the bank declined to refund the lost money because her son authorized it.
He is just a kid. We're supposed to protect our children. Wells Fargo should have something in place where they think, whoa, this looks very odd that this transaction just occurred in this teen account.
Now, I've mentioned this before, but it's worth repeating. Unlike credit transactions, there are no federal protections currently in place to refund consumers in the event of a fraud like this. So be careful and tell your lawmakers there ought to be a law. This has got to change. Right. This is just horrible.
Too many people are having real problems and losing money. Michael, thank you.
Sure.
Scam Alert at 6. A college student is now out $5,000 after she was scammed by someone looking for a sugar baby. She didn't want to share her name or face, but says the scammer emailed her 2 $3,000 checks in exchange for companionship by text message. He then asked her to send half of the money back on a cash app. Problem is, the bogus sugar daddy's original checks were fake, which the student discovered only after being out those thousands of dollars.
Right now, 5,000 negative, and I don't know how I'm going to be able to pay it.
You get the money, it looks like the funds are in your account, and then you send the money off to the scammer, and then when it turns out that the check is bounced, you're responsible for paying back the bank.
Well, the case is now being investigated by police in Murfreesboro.
It's giving payment arrangement. It's giving payment arrangement. Negative 5,000. Ooh. You know, I know some of you, you've logged in before, looked at your bank account, and been like, something's got to change, But to see a negative 5,000, that's a whole nother level of insufficient funds. That is, you're probably going to have to close my account. It's giving, maybe I'll win off of a scratch off, possibly. There's nothing I can do at that point. If my account is in the negative 5,000, what you going to do? Just file a dispute? Just file a dispute and make a payment arrangement. Otherwise, it's going on your credit report. It's giving FICO score decreased. It's giving collections. It's giving know your consumer rights and send some letters to the credit agencies because you're going to need to. She was ready to get that money. She had dreams. She was about to go on a few websites. She was about to live it up. And next thing you know, boom. And that's how they get you. The wicked are always up thinking of ways to cause strife, panic, chaos, calamity, and poverty. They don't care who you are. The objective is their only focus. And there are some ruthless tactics that people will use to scam you out of your money. And one of the biggest ways to scam somebody out of money is to look for somebody who needs it desperately, who is willing to do whatever to get it. It's a play on emotions and behaviors. And that's why you should never be predictable. You should never let the enemy be able to out-strategize you being able to keep your head on a swivel and you being wise. I know there are some times that are rough. There are some times where you're like, I need more money. And one of the common ways to get it is to look for overtime, pick up a second job, do something to make ends meet, to where you can live and leisure, to where you're not always drained and trying to figure out which bill can be paid last. You don't want to always be in the seasons of making a deferred payment plan or an arrangement. You would like to be able to pay your bills on time and even ahead of time. You would like overage, and not the kind that you have to acquire from working, because increasing your hours requires more of your energy. Rent, electricity, water, food, sewer, trash, phone bill, internet, every month. And for the average person, it's a lot. And then you have to include the dependents. So the vulnerability to remedy your financial struggles is real. However, it's not more real, and it's not actual when it comes to there being a different way. There is a different way that is righteous, that will lead you to abundance and save you from having to slide down the wall because you have been a part of a slut bang. because you have entered into territories that you have no business being in, that you are doing things to get money that is making your moral compass break down. That's putting you at risk. Physically, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. Things can go left. There is the lack of consideration of what if something glitches. What if this is the last night? What if this is the night I get caught? What if this is the night that he flips on me? What if I've caught feelings that I'm not supposed to? What if I'm not able to keep this promise? What if I really just want him for myself now? What if? Is the money worth it? Is the sugar worth it? The riches, the yachts, the furs, the this and the that, the exclusivity of the access to the excess and is it worth it? I think those who say it's worth it are those who don't believe. Those who are agnostic or atheists, those who worship a false god. To believe or not to believe is the question. Because it is that belief that can save you from ending up in a situation that you're having trouble getting out of. Easy to get in, hard to get out.
Some college students are turning to sugar daddy supplies.
Hello, South Africa. Today is Monday, June 20th, 2022, and here is news in a minute. Warning issued for sugar daddies in KZN. Older men who pursue relationships with teenage girls, otherwise known as sugar daddies, have been told to back off by Health Mech Nomagugu Sanlane. The warning comes as KZN battles with soaring teenage pregnancies and a high prevalence of sexually transmitted diseases, STDs. Sanlane was addressing a church gathering in Kandla over the weekend when she decided to deliver a number of home truths. The politician brazenly called out both religious institutions and the local community for allowing the so-called sugar daddies to prey on these youngsters. The provincial Mech questioned why a 40-year-old would even be attracted to a teenager in the first place and blasted the uneven dynamic that is always present in these morally dubious relationships. Sanlane also stated that the young girls are always left to deal with the consequences. The sugar daddies of KZN are notorious for either impregnating their junior partners or sharing STDs with them, only to then clear off and absolve themselves of responsibility. That's why the KZN Health Department has now issued a clear and concise hands-off warning. How does a 40-year-old look at a 16-year-old and think, I hope she's hot? They know that it's easy for these children to be submissive because the relationship is uneven. It's not just a problem for girls. Sugar daddies must leave our children alone and allow them to grow up. Please subscribe for more news updates. This is Leah for the South African.
When traveling, people have choices. Whether it's by plane, train, ferry, taxi, or even the bus. However you choose to travel, you're expecting your experience to be incident and accident-free. You're not expecting to have to encounter any type of crime or even murder. However, as of late, that's not the case. There are communities that are being plagued by people who have no moral compass. Bus rides are not safe, and people are really questioning if this should be their mode of transportation. Next on the Suspense Files, the bus stop murders when tragedy strikes public transportation plus party bus nightmares. Oh, what a joy it is to be able to get your nails done on any given day or for a special occasion while maintaining a healthy nail care lifestyle. Having the choice to do your nails at home or book an appointment at the salon is a vibe. Then being faced with that daunting task of picking out the right color and making sure you have the right set can be a challenge, but we're able to get it done every single time. And that manicure is much needed. However, have you stopped to consider, what are they putting on my nail beds? What is this chemical? Next, on the hair appointment, 911. After the nail appointment, allergic reactions and infections. Plus, how long is too long? Guinness Book World Records. Available on demand now. In the summertime, people are trying to find ways to beat the heat. They're trying to stay cool by the pool. They're not expecting their air conditioner to go out. Fish don't fry in the kitchen and beans don't burn the grill. But for some reason, you feel like you're on the menu. You're cooking. It's baking. It's day 6. You've placed several calls to the maintenance, several calls to the manager and to the property management, and nothing is being done. You see the maintenance workers, but for some reason, there's no progress. You and the rest of the tenants have had it. You know for a fact that your rights are being violated, and these codes, they're not up to date. And there's a violation. As a matter of fact, there are several violations. You've spoken to the landlord. You've spoken to the owner of the building. And they don't understand what's going on. They're trying to fix it. There's a problem. And it can kill. Next on the Culture Climate, the tenant's nightmare. You made up in your mind that once you got to Hollywood, nothing was going to stop you. You were going to be famous and you were going to get a star on the Walk of Fame. You were willing to do whatever it takes to get your record deal, even if it means exploiting your God-given talents, even if it means hanging out late night with the who's who. Some people don't even have talent, but they're willing to do whatever it takes to get on. And many find out what the D and record deal really stands for. Next on the tour, Surviving the Producer's Proposition. You are currently listening to Charlie's Demons, Sugar Baby Crimes. What's done in the apartment will come out in the Cash App. Plus, the Sugar Baby scam on the Suspense Files, covering the who, what, when, where, why in urban crime. Thank you for adding us to your podcast shuffle and for letting us be the flavor in your ear. Welcome back. You are listening to the Suspense Files, covering the who, what, when, where, why in urban crime. It's 11:30 p.m. Central Standard Time in Dallas, Texas, and I hope your ride home is good. I hope your moments at work are even better. Wherever you're tuned into the Sister Speak Show network, I thank you, and I hope that by allowing us to be the flavor in your ear, and by you adding us to your podcast shuffle, that we're helping your day go a little bit smoother. No, smoother. That's it. We just want you to have a good time, pay attention, and start your healing journey for sure. Listen, the time has been well spent. Tonight's episode, Charlie's Demons, the Sugar Baby Crimes, was done in the apartment, will come out in the Cash App. Plus, the Sugar Baby scam. Teach your children, speak to your children, learn how to engage with your children. The word of the Lord will instruct you on how to do so. Protect them, they're young. You and I can fall for a scam. You and I can be deceived. So we can only imagine how much more pressure it is on the young people to engage and not know how to say no, to not know how to be solid. That's a responsibility for those who are training up. So let's get to it. Let's hold tight. Now listen, brothers and sisters, as I mentioned, the time has been well spent. I thank you so much for being a wonderful listening audience. Please go ahead and download the previous episodes and make sure that you make sure that you subscribe to the Sister Speak Show Network on Spreaker, SPREAKER, and you will have exclusive content. This will be beginning August 1st. Our talk show will be 7 years old on the 6th of August. So I'm excited about that. Wanted to bring it in right for $15.99. The exclusive content is going to include so much. It'll be locked, so those who are listening to, those who are not paying, they will have no access to what you are paying your hard-earned money for. You can also go to my Instagram at I am SISTASPEAK. I am Sister Speak. And you can click on the link in my bio for immediate listening access as well as immediate subscriptions. Yes. Okay, y'all. I hope you rest well. I hope you will keep establishing your boundaries. I hope you continue to put on the whole armor of God. Keep praying. Keep pressing. And don't you be moved. Don't you be moved. And make sure that you pray, because the Lord is your shepherd and you shall not want. You don't have to go down through the road of Sugar Babyville to Sugar Babyville. You don't have to engage in what you feel like is keeping yourself young and keeping yourself hip. Age gracefully. Uh-oh, this is too loud. I know this part is going to be loud. I know y'all probably couldn't hear anything I said. I hope you did. The volume was way too loud. Anyway, you all, have a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful day. And we will converse very soon. I do have another episode for you that I am working on. And then it's going to be exclusive contentville. So get your $15.99 ready for the exclusive content. It'll be locked. Go to Spreaker, SPREAKER, or go to Instagram. Click on the link in my bio. My Instagram, once again, is I am SISTASPEAK. I am Sister Speak. And you can then subscribe right then and there. It'll be worth it. The best $15.99 that you could spend. And with that being said, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. My God, my rock in whom I take refuge, my shield and the horn of my salvation, my stronghold. Warriors, mount up.